Hey, Ian, so
Yeah.
thank you for doing this and congrats on Rush Laffinger's Dying. It's a great movie and the editing in it is absolutely incredible. Like the way you managed to piece everything together and switch between the faux documentary and the narrative side is certainly a challenge. What would you say like your biggest obstacles in switching between the faux narrative, the faux documentary and the narrative and like almost like the self-shooting sides and making it flow so well was.
Honestly, I think it's mostly the shooting. Just shooting between like when you pop between 4:3 DV and like anamorphic area Alexa, it's just gonna feel different. So I think that did a lot of the work. And then I don't know, we really that wasn't ever really too big of an issue. So that and then in the movie we used real footage from the past. That was where it got more difficult, finding all that stuff, getting it all together, and then making all that kind of make sense. Frankensteining that to make sense for this movie. That was really the harder part.
Can you talk a little bit about like Frankensteining it together? Because that's very interesting. I just would like to dive in a little more on that itself.
Sure, yeah. So Parker, Wes, and Devin have been friends for like a while now. So they had, and we all worked together at Funny or Die, and they all filmed videos together. So we have a lot of footage of them over the years. So it really was just getting Parker to go through, gathering all the raw footage, finding all like in between stuff. Not we weren't really we didn't care about the actual like video. We cared about all the in between stuff of them like directing each other and doing lines. So just combing through all that, which was hours and hours of stuff, and then just whittling it down, and then just seeing kind of what connected, and with videos and movies, it's kind of those things just happen organically. You can't really plan them.
Yeah. So I believe your latest feature prior to this was Keeping Company, correct? That was
Yep.
also with Devin. So what was that
Yep.
like? That's a much more narrative structure of a film where you're not Frankenstein and things. And what would you say was like, what were the differences between that and Rush Loffinger were, and like what were the complications between the two, and like what was the experience for you doing between those two projects as well?
Yeah. So for Keeping Company, the director had already done a pretty like a cut, and then I came in because he was getting busy with other things, and he kind of just needed some time off of it. So I came in and did a couple months and just kind of looked at it from another angle, and that was a lot. That was different because we don't have 40-minute takes where people are just goofing around trying to figure out like exactly what the scene's gonna. I mean, we always knew what the scene was gonna be, but you could always evolve it. And Keeping Company was right on the script, and it was fun because you can get in there and just know that you've got the best stuff in there pretty confidently, and that the scene's working because you read it on the page and you know how it's going to work. And then with this movie, it was just more. We had the scenes and they followed the script, but then they would do alts, and then those alts would kind of branch into other things. So we'd have 8 versions of the same scene with different jokes and different stuff. So that one took longer to figure out, like, and to be confident that we had all the best stuff. Because when there's that much stuff, you just kind of can shut down if you don't just go through it and just whittle it down.
And would you say that's a normal process as an editor? Like the director gives you something that they're almost happy with and they just get overwhelmed, or like you normally working alongside them, or what would you say? Because that seems very like unusual that they called you in afterwards.
Yeah, well, it was just that, yeah, they just needed some new eyes on it. So I just came in, and we would still work together and stuff, but it just allowed him to kind of look at it more objectively rather than, be like, well, I know this won't work because I've already seen the footage. He could say, hey, try this, and then I could, either come at it with add another way or something. So, that does happen a lot. So, um, it's always good to get fresh eyes.
Completely. I just wasn't aware that like sometimes directors would like make their own vision, then have an editor come in just for the fresh eyes aspect. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it definitely was like, I mean, I didn't do crazy change. I mean, I would always propose stuff, but it was more of a polish, I would say.
Okay. What would you say the difference between like shooting features and editing features and like being on features versus like funny and die sketches and shorts, or like even like I believe you worked with Bill Burr on a short, like what, or Bill Maher, sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like what would
Well,
the
yeah. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, the good thing about editing is at the end of the day, you just got all the shots, you make a scene, and then you just put the scenes together, and then it gets bigger and bigger. But ultimately, you're just making scenes. So when you're doing Funny or Die stuff, you're just doing, sketches that can have probably at the max 5 scenes. So it's just really good practice, and then you just extrapolate that, and then when you do a show, I did a show before I ever did a movie, so you would just keep doing those scenes and building it out, and it ultimately comes together. So it's really just keeping track of what the biggest part of a movie is, just keeping track of everything, and just having that memory of knowing where everything is and all that stuff, because it gets unwieldy. And this is even a long movie. I can't imagine how these guys do 2 hour and 45 minute movies. Just watching it every day
right just
seems like a lot.
same footage over and over at 3 hour intervals?
Exactly. Like, with
Wait,
this
this
movie,
one shot here.
yeah. Yeah, because with this movie, towards the end, you change one little thing, and then before you put it up so other people can watch it, you have to watch it all over again, make sure nothing messes up. And yeah, when you're doing that, or Parker would just come over for a day, and we would just watch the movie in the morning to like get started. I can't imagine how I guess you do it in little sections on a
Yeah,
bigger movie.
You'd split up like that typical 3 hour movie into like 45 minute to an hour segments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because that's, I mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, that's how you always, with these, like, with this one, you start with reels. Starts with scenes, moves on to reels, and then you start doing movies.
So would you say like going from shorts to like feature lengths and even TV shows, where would you say like your heart set into moving forward, or do you just enjoy all of it? Like what would you, if you had to choose a medium within the medium itself to continue working
Hmm.
on, what would it be and why?
I mean, I do like movies. I watch movies more than I watch TV shows. So I like, having a whole story told to you in hopefully under 2.5 hours. Um, but shows are a lot of fun. Just really being able to like build on things, and even keeping a consistent style throughout a whole season of a show is very cool and fun. So it's all fun stuff. Um, Shorts I don't really do too much anymore, but I would. Commercials I do. Those are fun in their own way.
Yeah. So would you say you have more creative freedom as an editor and a collaborator in TV series because you have like they're 23 to like 30 minutes typically,
Hmm.
you're doing it spread over 8 or so hours versus like a confined hour, 40 hour, 30.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it all depends. I mean, I don't have that much. I mean, I have a control in the fact that I can say I've seen everything, and I'm telling you, this is probably what we have. So, but you just got to get trust. Once you have trust of people, then you can start to take control. And like with this movie, I mean, it's so low budget. We had full control, so didn't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah, I mean that's the perks of working with your friends, right?
Yeah, that's the exactly, and low budget, because once real money starts being spent, then people start having opinions.
So would you say you're more focused on continuing on your like the indie path, or would you like to?
I want to make big time movies, um, but you know, it's all just little steps up and up and up. So hopefully one day. I mean, not. I don't know about those like Marvel movies. I don't know how much fun that would be, because that's almost like animation at this point, of just how much previs is already in there, and it's just that's a we had 65 visual effects shots on this thing that I had to keep track of, and I was losing my mind. I can't imagine when you have 40,000, 4,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 65 visual effects shots in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. 5 minutes,
Depending on the
yeah,
Marvel
one
drop.
scene. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, they still, big movies like that Top Gun. That would have how much fun would that be to cut
Yeah,
together? I can't imagine anything more fun.
for sure. So you're into like the realistic effects versus like the CG kind of thing is what I'm kind of getting here.
Sure, sure, sure. I mean, I think CG is definitely. I mean, there's plenty of CG in Top Gun. It's just the
Looks more
main thing
realistic.
is real. So you just once the main thing's real, it all works. But it's like when when they're shooting in a desert, you can tell that like they're not in a desert. That it's like that's the worst stuff. It's like just you have the money, just fly everybody out and get a shot of your actors standing on a sand dune.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's kind of where I put it. But no, I really I like the science of all the visual effects, and I'm really into that new the XR stage or whatever they call them with the Unreal in the background because that eliminates that kind of phoniness while still being visual effects.
Yeah. So I just have one last question for you.
Okay.
If you could work on any project, past or present, that you would like to have changed or put your mark on, what would it be and why?
Oh boy. Um. Wow. Let's think. I mean, of course, you'd want to have your name on the big ones, the Star Wars, the 2001. I don't know what I would want to change. I don't think I mean, the thing with editing is you really don't know what they have, so it's pretty. It's a lot to go. Like, I know how I could fix this, and it's only one little thing, and then it would fix the whole thing. But I would love to have my name on a big movie that people like and talk about. How fun is that?
Yeah, totally fair. But
I can't think of I mean, Terminator 2. I wish I edited Terminator 2.
okay. And with that
There it
being
is.
said, when you were saying things along the lines of like you don't get to see that unused footage, what's your stance on like a director's cut versus the original cut that was released? And do you have a
Hmm.
preference on a specific movie where you've seen the director's cut that was later released and
Sure,
you kind of
sure.
preferred to the original cut?
Yeah. No, I definitely understand, even with this movie, I mean, I understand the idea of like watching something and be like, oh, we could change that. Like, why? I don't know why we did that. We could change that really quick. So, I mean, I don't think they're bad because they never, well, I guess with Star Wars, the old ones went away. I think that's the only reason people get mad is if you get rid of the old ones. So, as long as it's like, you know, just a cutout there, who cares? It's fun. Blade Runner Final Cut is better than the original. Kingdom of Heaven Final Cut is better than the original. Um, those are both Ridley Scott movies, so I guess he just needs more time.
Ridley just like, no, the studio told me I have to make it this, so I'm making it.
Yeah,
Then down the road, you're gonna get what I actually envisioned.
yeah, exactly. And then sometimes what's weird is they'll put director's cuts out, and it'll just be like an early cut, and the director won't even like. I remember specifically in like the Town commentary, Ben Affleck going like, "This is like the first cut. Like, I'm happy with what's in the theater, but they wanted a director's cut, so here's this." Um, so it is annoying when you can only find the director's cut like on a streaming service. Um, but I don't care. There's so much out there. It's easy to
There's
get.
so much
Let
content.
guys make their own movies. Whoever wants to touch their own movies, they got the right to.
Fair enough. Okay, and I very much appreciate your time. So thank you very much for this, and
Yep.
congrats again on West Schlagenhoff is dying.
Yep. Great. Thank you very much.